85% of people who are in the 9 to 5 can't stand their job. And if you keep following that path like I did, then you're probably waking up every single morning feeling trapped, missing out on years of exciting opportunities and not knowing what it's like to live up to your full potential. Even if you are just stuck in a regular job, then today I'm going to show you how to start your very own YouTube channel and put a workflow process in place so that you can use YouTube to escape that 9 to 5 and create a new path that allows you to live up to your full potential. Many people think you have to be this big expert to start making videos on YouTube, but what you have to realize is that your voice matters even if you're not super famous or super knowledgeable yet. In fact, that's what makes you even more relatable to the people watching the video. What really matters on YouTube are your real life experiences and the lessons that you've learned. In fact, there's probably something you've learned about this week that someone has been struggling to figure out for years. YouTube gives you the chance to share that and make a difference. But starting out on YouTube can feel overwhelming because you don't know where to direct your energy and your focus. So that's why I've put together a simple YouTube creation workflow with 6 main steps to help you get started. First, you need to come up with ideas for your videos, and this part is all about 3 things. And the first thing is finding ideas. And what I like to do on this is look on YouTube or look on online forums to see if there's any recurring problems that I can help answer through a video. And after you've found your idea, you create your idea. And when you're creating your ideas, you want to think about how you can integrate your own experiences into your videos. Maybe you have some fun stories or unique lessons that you can share. This is what's going to help you stand out among all those other people that are sharing videos on similar topics. And the third part is validating your idea. So once you have an idea, you want to check YouTube to see if your idea has been done before. And doing this helps you to understand whether your idea is new or whether you need to put your own twist on it because it's already been done before. And this also gives you a very good indication of whether your idea is actually wanted by people. Because if videos have a lot of views on the topic that you're making a video about, it's a good sign that people actually want to watch that kind of video. But there are loads of tools and tricks out there that you can use to make awesome video ideas. And what I've done is mapped out every single step that my ideal viewer needs to take in order to get from being a beginner on YouTube to creating a channel that allows them to achieve their goals and dreams in life and obviously go full-time on YouTube. But mapping out your ideal viewer's journey from beginner to expert gives you tons of video ideas for your channel. So it's important to map out every single intricate step so that you can help to answer all of their questions. But anyway, on to the next step, which is packaging. Now, if your title and thumbnail aren't interesting, then no one's going to click your video. So what your title and thumbnail should be doing is making people super curious. When you see these videos, it makes you wonder what happens next, or why did they say that? So you click on the video to find out more. And for titles, I like to write loads of them into a Google Doc and then copy and paste them into ChatGPT, which I then ask to rank my titles from best to worst. And more often than not, I go with the title that they pulls first. After your packaging, you've got your writing and research. Now, most people ask, do I need a script? Now, the answer can differ from person to person, but what I've found is that the positives can massively outweigh the negatives. Let's say you set up a camera without a script and you hit record. The chances of you rambling and going on tangents are super high, which makes the recording and editing process 10 times longer. So what I do is I write my script word for word, but I write it as though I'm chatting to my ideal viewer over a cup of coffee. When you imagine you're speaking to one specific person, your video feels more personal and relatable, and it makes your viewers feel like you get exactly what they're going through. Next, I do my research, and this part is what makes your videos really stand out. You can check out books, watch videos, or search for information online that's super reliable. But when you're researching, think of it like this. There are 2 gardeners, Joe and Dave, and they both make YouTube videos about gardening. They're both really similar in personality and skills, but Joe, he loves reading books about finance, so he teaches people how to do gardening on a budget. But then you've got Dave, who loves watching videos about productivity, so he teaches people how to garden smarter, not harder. That extra knowledge and interest that they both have makes their videos unique. So use what you learn from your books and your online resources to make your videos stand out above everyone else's in your niche. But there's one more cool trick that I want to share that's going to totally change how you write your scripts, and it's going to keep your viewers watching your videos for longer. Instead of just saying your key point that you're going into in your video, like for example, in this video I've got 5 lessons and the first lesson is X, which can actually make your viewers click away, what you want to be doing is this. First, explain why the lesson is super important for someone like your viewer. Make them think, wow, I need to stick around to watch this point that they're about to deliver. And then tell the lesson through a story, a metaphor, or your own unique style, instead of just saying lesson 1 is X. When you give away the lesson straight away, the viewers have got what they've come for and just go, right, well, I don't need to watch the rest of this, and skip along the video or just completely quit. So using the why what framework instead of the what why framework, which is what most people actually do on YouTube, you make people way more curious and make them watch more of your video. Alright, so next we're moving on to the recording. When it comes to filming your video, don't stress about the quality because you don't need super high quality gear at first. You can just start with what you already have. Like for example, when I first started, I used my iPhone and just filmed on that. And if your phone doesn't have cinematic mode, which gives your background a nice blur, then you can use this free app called Filmic Pro. And then for a microphone, you can just use like this lavalier microphone, which I think I bought for around $12 on Amazon, but the quality is actually really good. Then in terms of lighting, all I did for my first videos was use this lamp right here, and I just placed it over here on my desk and turn it on, and then that was my lighting setup. But now I'm using these fairly cheap Ulanzi box lights which are just hanging overhead, but I'm quite impressed with the quality of the lighting that it produces. And finally, you'll want to think about something for your script, which you can have written down on a piece of paper, or you can do what I do and have your laptop next to your camera. But it goes to show that you don't need super high quality gear to get started on YouTube. Now, when it comes to editing, it's always best to keep it simple, and you want to focus on making your video flow smoothly above anything else. Now, a good edit has 3 key things. It tells a good story with a beginning, middle and end. It makes you feel something emotional, like happiness, excitement, curiosity, and it has a nice rhythm with no extra parts that slow things down. In terms of video editing software, I use a free one called DaVinci Resolve, which you can download online, but you can also use something like CapCut. Now, even though there's loads to learn when it comes to editing, you know, you've got all your effects, you've got all the presets, you've got templates, you've got all this sort of stuff that you can possibly learn about editing. The key thing to focus on is making your video enjoyable and easy to watch. And when you've put your video together, the last step is putting your video on YouTube. Now, when you upload your video, you obviously want to focus on having a really good title, really good thumbnail, and a really good description. Now, you can just copy the format of my description if you like, and when it comes to tags, you honestly don't need to worry about them too much because, in all honesty, they really don't make a difference. The big difference makers are your title and your thumbnail. Also, you want to decide whether your video is made for kids, whether you want to upload your video straight away, set it as private, make it unlisted, or schedule your video for later. Alright, so now we talked about how to create and upload your video, it's time to look at what happens after your video in terms of its performance. And now this is where what most people consider the scary part of YouTube comes into it. But in this section, I'm going to help break down YouTube analytics so it makes it way less scary for you. Now, when you post your first videos, YouTube analytics will show loads of different numbers and loads of different graphs that'll probably send your head spinning. YouTube analytics might seem super confusing at first, but don't worry because you only need to focus on 5 key things. The first thing is something that allows you to see how well your packaging is performing and helps you to determine whether you need to change up your packaging to help improve the amount of views that your video is getting. CTR, also known as click-through rate, helps you to see how many people clicked on your video in comparison to the amount of people that saw it. It's basically a percentage that tells you whether your title and thumbnail are really making people say, I need to watch this. The next metric is something that tells you how many times YouTube has shown your video to people. And what you'll notice is that impressions might come in peaks and then eventually slow down, or maybe even flatline when it's reached the ceiling of that particular audience, or if there's another video out there that's similar to yours but is maybe a little bit better that YouTube is deciding to show to people instead. The next 2 metrics are AVD, which is average view duration, and retention rate. These 2 metrics basically show you how long people are watching your video for and whether they're sticking around until the end. And your retention graph is really useful for seeing when people dip off your video. Maybe you said something in particular, maybe you dragged on for too long at a certain point, but it's really useful to study your retention graphs and decide what to keep in future videos and what to cut out. Finally, there's something called traffic sources, and this shows you exactly where your viewers are coming to your video from. So there are 2 main types of traffic sources. There's the search traffic And then you've got browse traffic. When you get views from search traffic, it tends to be slow and steady and you get more views over time. But then you've got browse traffic, which is the traffic that I recommend people go and aim for because it helps your videos get views much quicker than search. And the main way you do this is literally by making your title and thumbnail as curious to your ideal viewer as possible. But even though the YouTube creation workflow and diving into analytics can help you create higher quality videos, it can be hard to find time to fit creating YouTube videos into your week. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, said you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. There are 3 key strategies that you can use to help create more time for growing your YouTube channel and creating content for it. Now the first thing you want to do is look at the hours that you spend on things that might not necessarily be healthy for you. Maybe you spend lots of time on your phone scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you've got, or maybe you just spend lots of time watching football games or playing loads of video games like I did. Now I did this myself when I first started my YouTube channel and it helped me to save 5 to 7 hours a day. Now I'm not suggesting you do exactly what I did, which is basically quit everything cold turkey, but what I do suggest you do is look at the time you spend on your phone and maybe start to think about replacing that time with a bit of YouTube stuff. And imagine if you took those 2 to 4 hours that you spend every single day scrolling on your phone to actually write a script or record a video or even edit a video. Imagine where you could be in a year's time. And the second strategy, again, comes from when I first started on YouTube, because when I first started, I was watching videos from tons of different people on YouTube. And it was really confusing because everyone had different ways of thinking and different ways of explaining things and, loads of different opinions on how you should do things. But now I only listen to one specific person. So I listen to one person for business and one person for YouTube and one person for telling me what I should do around the house. Sorry babe, I love you really. So the only people I'm listening to in those areas are where I want to be. Now the third strategy comes from when I was little. Basically, when I was a little kid, I wished I could be a superhero. But what I didn't realise is that everyone actually has their own hidden superpower that's waiting to be discovered. It might not be flying or super strength, but it could be something like being a great editor or a great communicator or even having a high quality network of people that can help you get places. Figure out what you're really good at and use it to grow your channel faster. But if you want your channel to grow and stay awesome for years, maybe 5, 10 or even more, then you need to pick a reason why you're doing this YouTube thing in the first place, and you need to pick a niche that you're really passionate about, because this is what keeps you going even when times get tough. Now you might ask, how do I pick a niche that I can stick with for years even when my interests change? Well, when I first started on YouTube, I didn't think I was an expert in anything. I was into music production and video editing, but I wasn't really a master in either of those things. So I started making videos about music, even though I was nowhere near perfect at it. And over time I've tried many different niches until I found the one that I've fallen in love with. Now what I recommend you do is you just pick one topic that you're really interested in just while you're learning the ropes of YouTube. You don't have to be an expert, you don't have to be super passionate about it, just pick one thing that can help you get started. But as you get better at YouTube, you can then ask yourself whether you should stick with that niche or whether you should choose something that's more aligned with your goals and your dreams. For me, it took me about a year to realise that my future was in YouTube, and once I realised, I doubled down on making videos, creating strategies and studying everything about YouTube. Now that decision has helped me to land the dream job at one of the top YouTube agencies in the world. Now we've already covered how a simple YouTube creation workflow can help to unlock incredible opportunities, and it's the workflow that helped me to take that huge leap and break free from my 9 to 5 and get one step closer to my dreams. But to see how I did it, even with only 4,000 subscribers, then you can check out this video right here, where I walk through some time-saving tips that help me to balance YouTube alongside my 9 to 5.